Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Director of Business and Program Development at the Milken Institute, Sarah Sandler.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah Sandler, Senior Director at the Milken Institute. Thank you for joining us. We're very happy to have you here. In this room, we're pleased to welcome individuals and organizations that bring a broad range of perspectives, industries, and backgrounds. At the Milken Institute, we firmly believe it's important to reach across silos in order to achieve results that benefit all. This summit is much more than the discussions that you'll see on stage. It's a culmination of the important work our centers do throughout the year and helps inform our agenda going forward. These centers seek to facilitate smooth and efficient operation of financial markets, promote healthy, productive, and purposeful aging, advocate for sustainable solutions that lead to better health for individuals and communities, drive job creation, and promote industry expansion, empower philanthropists to effectively address social issues, accelerate medical solutions, extend the reach and impact of the Milken Institute to the Asia-Pacific region and around the world, and advance the American dream around the world. We cannot do this work alone, and are stronger with your intellectual and financial participation. It's my honor to formally acknowledge and thank the group of people who make this event and all the great work that we do possible, our supporters.
The Milken Institute wishes to thank our underwriter, sponsors, and strategic partners for their support. Without their generosity, our work at the Middle East and Africa Summit would not be possible. Our underwriter, KBBO Group. Our summit sponsors, Apollo Global Management, APQ Global Limited, Bearings, Brightstar Capital Partners, Kane International, Citi, CQS, Fitch Ratings, InvestCorp, Lord Abbett, McKinley Capital Management, Mubadala, SoftBank Investment Advisors, Standard Chartered, State Street Corporation. Our strategic partners, Amgen, Bearings, Bombardier Business Aircraft, Citadel, Citi, Credit Suisse, the D.E. Shaw Group, Bahrain Economic Development Board, Eldridge Industries, EY, Golden Tree Asset Management, Guggenheim Partners, the Leona M. and Harry B. Helmsley Charitable Trust, InvestCorp, Jefferies, KBBO Group, Mubadala, Novo Nordisk Incorporated, PepsiCo, PGIM, the investment management business of Prudential, SoftBank Investment Advisors, State Street Corporation, Two Sigma, Vade Partners. Thank you all. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your all-star panel on Life After Sport. What do elite athletes do next? Moderated by founder and CEO of the Evolvance Group, Khaled Al-Mehri.
Thank you, my love. Thank you so much. Please. Full house. Yeah, please. Please sit down. afternoon, everyone. I hope we can make this an easy session over lunch. Um, Today with us is, on my left, is Didier Drogba, a true legend. A true legend, African Football of the Year, one of the best ambassadors Africa has ever produced. Played for Chelsea, is the only African player to score 100 goals. Took the Ivory Coast for the first time to 2006 World Cup. And extremely generous in his own charity, which is the Drogba Charity Foundation. We have also Nicolas Anelka on my left. He's a true legend, sweet as it gets. And he doubled with Arsenal, he has won the Euro, he has won the Premier with Chelsea, and he has done it all. From a culture point of view, it will be an interesting conversation to have with him. On my left there is my brother Clarence Seedorf. Regarded as one of the best midfielders ever to play in this game. The Champions League game loves him. One of the most successful people on the Champions League. He is the only player to have won it 4 times with 3 different teams. And he has played 20 years without an injury. And the last, but one of the true legends in boxing for 20 years, an intellect, a boxer, a combined, a strategist, and without saying, Mr. Vladimir Klitschko. So we will make this as an interactive going into the future, what these players is all about and so forth, and some from the past, but football is 75% of this panel, so we will also speak about football and how it's affecting all of us. One of the first questions I have is for Drogba is, how do you prepare mentally, and especially for that Munich night? And for all of you who know, coming from North America, we have a football tournament called the Champions League. And the Champions League for us is the Super Bowl, is the NBA Finals, and the World Series in one. So it is the biggest tournament every year. So how do you prepare mentally, and especially for that night in Munich?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. To talk about how I prepared for the final in Munich, you have to remember that in 2008 I was in the Champions League final against Manchester United and lost it. And my approach was, I want to win. I'm a striker, so I need to do everything to help my team winning. And 4 years later, when I happened to be again in the Champions League final in Munich this time, I changed. In order to win it, I need to, rather than scoring the goal, to play with my team, to motivate my team, to try to bring the best out of them, and of course myself to try to finish the goal. But it was also my last year at Chelsea, so the day before the game, I tried to visualize the goal. I tried to see what could be a nice goal to score, and I imagined myself, okay, this time the ball comes on my left foot, and then I shoot top corner, and then amazing goal, and that's it. And sometimes, the day of the game, it happens. So I think mentally, you have to visualize your goal.
Thank you. Nelka. He has played some of the most superb strikers in the middle, in the strikers, and I just want to, as calm he is, I've known him for many, many years. He's a very calm person. What are you doing after life of football now?
Well, I will be the opposite of Didier, because Didier wants to work a lot and getting busy. Me, I'm very calm. After 20 years of football, I wanted to relax myself, to spend some time with the family. So for the last 4 years, because I played 20 years in football, I started when I was 16 and finished when I was 36. I wanted to rest. So the life after football for me it's very quiet. I don't do much. When I say quiet, it's not correct, because even if you say you want to stop, you cannot stop when you've been playing for 20 years. So I stay in connection with in football. I work for Roda, a team in Holland, now in second division, but coached Lille. I don't know if you know Lille in France. They played Champions League this year. I was coaching the strikers. This year I did finish my movie, because I'm doing a movie about my life, a documentary. It will be out in 2 months on Netflix platform. And to finish, I'm getting my diploma to become a coach, because I think this is what I want to do. So not very busy, but my life is quite good right now.
Okay, thank you. No. My question is for my brother Seedorf. Is one of those, we all go through body pains and so forth, but to go 20 years without an injury is an achievement for a football player. How did you do it?
First of all, good afternoon to everybody, and it's a pleasure to share the stage with all of you. Some think it's that you kicks you from behind and you don't see him coming. I mean, that can happen, but and small things, but real injuries that have knocked me out. I've never been longer out than 2 weeks, practically 3 weeks, which is normal practice for us at that stage. But most of it is awareness of our body, choices you make, prevention. This is something at an early stage. I always thought that preventing was better than curing, and therefore I made a lot of efforts to work when I was fit, to stay fit, which is the most difficult thing, because when we are fit and we're healthy and we're happy, we all forget that we need to do the things that brought us to that stage and to maintain it there. So those things I've then done from the beginning of my career, and so I gained a lot of credits due to that, because when something was small would come up, I would immediately go and take care of it, and sometimes I would even ask the coach to not play me, which is, I don't remember any player who go to the coach and say, don't play me, coach, for this match. Why? Because I have something that I think could be risky. This was the first 10 years of my career, because there was no much technology going on in preparing players. So you needed to be aware of your own body, and then later we were tested on daily basis, and so that prevention came more from the structure to yourself, and they say, hey, you're in an alarm phase now, it's better that you skip one match and recover completely. It's a mindset, but most of all, I see it as a philosophy of life and a lifestyle. What I did during my career, I'm still doing after my career. I've done it without any effort during, because for me it was really the way of living, eating, resting, at the proper moment, listening to your body. But before that, you need to have this awareness. And awareness comes with your curiosity to learn all that you can about yourself, and then find the right people who can help you become better mentally and then physically.
Excellent. Thank you, Sido. I have one more question for mentally when you prepare for a fight, it's all that mental preparation. How do you do it?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Mental strength is the most important thing in human body. If you control your mind, you control everything. And I remember back then as being an athlete and a fighter. By the way, I was beating up people for a living. What an enjoyable thing. And ready for physical or mental pain. That's what we go through in our lives. Whatever we want to achieve, we need to be prepared for that. And sometimes it's getting really challenging. And sometimes back then in my sporting career, and I've done almost professionally 70 fights, to be exactly 69, and I had failures, I had success. I had to feel those mental or physical pains or being totally emotionally hyped up. And how to learn it? Can you learn it? Absolutely. How to go through those difficulties in boxing ring, in a match, or in life. If a bear in Russian circus can learn how to ride a bicycle, anyone in this room can learn those skills too. So we humans are, in this case, more efficient. The only thing is, and the blockage that we have, probably we're sometimes not thinking who we are. And if you really take a look at it and find out who you are, you definitely will go through a lot of challenges and definitely will improve your mental strength. Obviously, something that had me made to develop a method which called Face the Challenge. And the principles of the method, like this 4 coordination and endurance. And endurance beats talent in business, in politics, in anything in life. So those principles were important in almost 30 years of my career as an athlete, and listening just to you and what you just said, I'm absolutely, or you hopefully going to agree with me, that endurance is something very crucially important for success and living healthy and performing and do anything that you want to do in your life. So one more time, can you learn it? Can you do it? Absolutely, yes. There is more to say, but I don't want to take it and have it as a monologue, with my answer. But there's principles that definitely can help anyone to achieve anything in life, and this is 4 principles that I just mentioned, covered in the face: focus, agility, coordination, and endurance.
Thank you, thank you. Because as you know, Didier is considered to be the king of Africa. What he's done for Africa as a nation is really has taken it to the next level. What does it need for Africa? Because a lot of the African players compete globally, but when they go to the national team, they can barely make it in the World Cup. And as an African, you have the highest achieve is to go to the World Cup. So what does it take to win it?
Well, I think it's a good question because we've been working on this with my team and also with a lot of federations. And obviously after the last World Cup where the teams who were representing the continent didn't go through the group stages, I believe we have the talent. I believe we have a lot of talent, but it takes time for us to understand that football, to win, you need to prepare, you need to plan, you need to organize yourself, and it takes time to build. Unfortunately, we were saying in the football books, there's no patience, so, but I still believe that you need a plan, short-term, long-term vision, and for example, I had a coach with the national team, brilliant. We won all our games for the last 2 years, and we go to the competition, and we lose in the quarterfinal, and he's out. So we have to rebuild again with a new manager coming. So you don't build on your failure, you just start a new cycle, and you cannot achieve something. And also, in terms of infrastructures, we need to invest a lot on infrastructures to give the possibility to these young talents to be in a better environment to progress and reach their full capacity. And because when they play in Europe with a better environment, they're successful. I see a lot of players like Yaya Touré, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane. So when they are in this kind of environment, it's easier for them because they have everything. And also the coaches, I think one of the most important things is to educate the coaches. You know, of his knowledge, what can he bring to you? Not much. So that's what we are working on, and that's one of the reasons why I want to invest a lot of time in Africa and trying to contribute to the development of football there, because football in Africa is more than football. It's not just a game. It's a way of life. It's a hope for kids, for all these kids who are dreaming of a better future and crossing the Mediterranean Sea. If you give them everything to be able to earn some money and feed their families, they will not do this crazy risk.
Okay.
Can I say something about this?
Yes, please.
I believe to perform on the pitch, you need a team around, to help the players to give the best on the pitch, and this is what missing, I think, in Africa. He was speaking about talent on the pitch. You can see, like in the Premier League, in France, everywhere in the world, you have a lot of African players, good, talented players. But like you said, missing the World Cup, and I think what is missing is the team around the team. You can be talented on the pitch, but if you have nobody around this team who give the chance to perform, you will never have the chance to win anything. So this is what I wanted to say.
Thank you. My next question is Seedorf, because Seedorf Clarence has played enough Champions League games, and it's always about this competition that we're obsessed in football and always. So in Clarence, I want to ask you, in terms of, you played with so many amazing players over 20 years. Which player you always said, wow, this is skills and talent to the max?
Well, I started like Nicolas with 16 years on the highest level. And that same year, somebody came from Brazil to play in Holland and was named Ronaldo. So we competed a few years against. And then we had a player to just not make my stage. He went from Ajax to PSG, it was Brian Roy. And then Brian Roy would come back to Ajax, say hi, after a training session and stuff, and started talking about Ronaldo. He said Ronaldo is from another planet. And then I played with him in Inter, and I played with him at Milan. And I think when I played with him in Inter, he broke his knee twice. And still in the training sessions, because everybody has seen what he has done on the pitch. But in training is when you really see the full skills of all the players. Because in the match you need to be tactically disciplined, you need to do what is proper for the team to win. And in training sessions sometimes one don't care and just show skills and that's it. And I've never seen anybody combine speed, vision, strength, everything that one can have in one player. Sometimes he would make passes that I think I had a good vision of the game, but I didn't see what he saw. He was just ahead. And super intelligent guy that now is very successful as well. So I always pitch him as the most complete player that I've played with in my career. Yeah.
Thank you. I want to go back to Anelka and ask him, because Anelka was played in the finals with Didier Drogba, but both of them were a killer combination in Chelsea. There's a memory, which is unfortunately we have to bring it up, which is Moscow. How did it feel going before that game in Moscow and knowing you will play probably a game with the owner in his hometown? How did it feel?
A lot of pressure. I think it was a lot of pressure for him and also for us. There's a lot of players who wants to play for Champions League. To reach the final, it's something different. It's something special. So, like I said, a lot of pressure because he was in his own town. We wanted to win. Everybody wants to win. When you reach the final, you want to win, of course. But yeah, you need to be focused, be strong mentally. Unfortunately, we lost this game. I think we were like very sad because we at the time we had like the team to beat them, to beat United, to start like a beautiful story with Chelsea, and we failed. So for me, it's not a good memory. I don't think it's a good memory for DJ as well, because what happened, I missed the penalty and he had a red card. But like he said, when you are like professional, you have to be strong and come back stronger. And I think this is what we did after that.
Thank you. I'll just, I think just 1 minute until everyone plates is clear. It's not fair, but because I've got a question for Vladimir, which is, you know, for going from a boxing to teaching an MBA, I really don't know who went to the club, but can you talk to us about the challenge management and that style? I read the book, and I would love for you to tell them, because this is integration of what all the things we're talking about here. What inspired you to write that book?
Well, we go through our life, we are learning a lot. The older we get, the more we understand who we are, what we want to share. And in this case, my sharing of my expertise of being an athlete, and that anyone can use it in their lives, and not just in sport of football, soccer, but also in whatever we want to do, especially if we think about different lives, and we do live different lives sometimes. Like at least we have two lives. So one before we're gonna get kids, another one after we're gonna have kids. So you're living two lives. One career after the other career, third career, fourth career. Just if you think about Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he was a bodybuilder, he was in service, in the Austrian army, politician, a governor, and so on. So he had lived a lot of lives in this case and had faced a lot of challenges. So in my opinion, just if you don't share, you don't really care about future generation. And if you share your experiences, the life of the next generation is going to be better, more improved, more sufficient. So the evolutionary process is no one going to stop. It's going to take its own speed. Why not accelerate it? And that's why it was motivation for me to create a method and do it in a methodical and systematical and sustainable way to improve other people's life. And what is challenge management? It's my life philosophy. I'm not a business person. I'm not an athlete. I'm not, like, I am, but I'm not really. I'm a challenge master in this case. So I like to face challenges. I like to create challenges. Believe it or not, I like to fail, because you learn the most when you fail, when life is good and success and all beautiful and good. So it's good to have, and eventually, I mean, that's what you're focusing on. But when you fail, you learn much more about yourself and about the world. This life philosophy and the philosophy of the method of challenge management, by the way, I wish you guys the same. I don't have problems in life. I have only challenges. So I wish you're going to have only challenges in life. Even though you say it, I have a problem, and like, it's going to see it in the next steps. If you think about problems, take it as a challenge. It's much more fun to solve. Just go back to childhood. Don't lose this childish in yourself. You have to take certain things seriously in life, but not yourself. So take it as a challenge, and eventually you're going to solve it. And even if you think it's in a dead end, it's going to end up in a dead end, nothing is going to be good, you know, you're wrong. There always one door closes, the other opens. That's why, speaking of challenge management, that's the philosophy of life, and that's the philosophy of the method. And by the way, you can learn it.
Thank you, thank you. I've got one more question for Didier here. As you know, what's next for you?
Next is the Ivory Coast Federation. I would love to be involved more, you know, use my experience in football to actually, you know, bring something special. What we were talking about, why African teams are not successful, and also football, like I said before, is a sport that can help to include people, that can help to develop a country, and football is a great ambassador for peace. In 2005, we qualified for the first World Cup of our country, and the country was divided. There was a civil war, and when you qualified, and the players were coming from all different regions of the country, so there was no religion in between us. We didn't talk about religion. The only thing that was bringing us together was the football. And every time the national team was playing, so the military forces would sit together, you know, with the army, put the guns outside, get into the room and watch our game and celebrate together. And once the game is over, they go back and then shoot at each other. It's crazy, but this is the power of football. So when we qualified, together we send a message to the politicians and say, you know what, we have a beautiful country, and we win the elections, and everything will be okay, and it happened. So this message went in, on the news every, and also 8 p.m. This message was going on right before the news, and 6 months later we have a ceasefire, and the elections are organized. So it's just to show you the power of football, especially in Africa.
I just want to add something here because Didier was kind enough not to. After Ivory Coast qualified to the World Cup and the celebration, he got on TV and got on his knees and asked the whole country to unite and stop the civil war. So this is something.
Thank you.
Thank you. My brother Anelka, always beautiful memories on them. What was the most beautiful memory? Because it's always that memory that you have. Can you talk us about a memory that you always fond of?
Memory, yeah? In football?
In football.
Let's say in football. Memories, I think it's when you win, you know, when it's a beautiful game, but at the end of the day, we are in a competition and we all want to win. So I will say, you know, for example, when you play for a big team in England, like Chelsea or Arsenal, because I won with Arsenal the first time. We won the title and the cup as well. So and I did it also with Chelsea. So the memories you have, it's something special. But you know, when I was in Arsenal, it was a long time ago. So you don't feel like when you are too young. It's not like when you reach and when you win something when you have like 30s. You don't realize how important it is to win the title and the double. You don't realize how difficult it is to win. And for that, I will say the memories I have to win something will be with Chelsea, because at this stage I was like almost 30. And I could understand what was the feeling to win something, because when you play in England, you have so many competitive team who can win this title and win the double, and we had a very good team at this time. Was something special, and it's something I will never forget.
Okay, thank you. My question for Clarence Seedorf is, I think a couple of people asked me before, and I said I will not ask it, I will not ask it. For those who are Liverpool fans in this, raise your hand if you're a Liverpool fan. Okay, there's few of you here, it's okay. There's always Clarence Istanbul, halftime. Can you take us through that, probably one of most drama games you've ever played in?
People think like that. I lived it in a different way because I always value the journey to the final, which I've been privileged enough to play many times. But that journey to that final, actually, we didn't deserve to get to the final. But once we were there, we played probably the best final in the 10 years before. And nothing happened. We went in the dressing room focused. We went out the dressing room focused. We started pretty well the second half as well.
Just for the sake of halftime, it was 3-0, and that has never happened in Champions League. So this is a small info for everyone to league final.
And the 4-0 was an offside. It was not an offside, but so we went back in the match, and then 6 minutes they scored 3 goals, and then at the end you lose by penalties. I have a harder time to look back at the game we lost with Deportivo La Coruña, which was a quarter final, and we won 4-0 in the first leg, and then or 4-1 actually the first leg, and then we went to Spain and we lost 4-0. That year was actually our best season as a team at AC Milan at that point, and we should have won everything that year. But you went out. I cannot digest that one, actually, because Liverpool sometimes is destiny. You play a good game, that is sport, you know. They came back, and we did not do anything so wrong that you can say really was our fault. Sometimes it is just destiny. We played actually against them 2 years later again.
You had to bring the revenge. There was a revenge game after it in 2 years where they actually took revenge of Liverpool in that game.
And there, they played better than us, but we won the game. So that's football. That is sport, actually, the beauty of sport.
Thank you, Clarence. Vladimir, can you talk us more about probably staying at that level of winning games, of winning matches? And, you know, he's the only person probably in this panel that it's an individual sport, one, where in football it's a team. It's a team spirit and a team. So can you talk us about it in terms of just blaming yourself every time if you lose? Do you do that?
To name myself and what?
In terms of what does it take, just one, you know, unlike other sports in football, where we have 11 players, you're just by yourself. So can you talk us about what does it take?
It takes it all. So the winner takes it all. You know, to win is actually simple. Once. But to remain successful for a longer period of time is the most challenging.
Yes.
To repeat success is challenging than anything. And I believe that's probably what we need to stress out here. We've been successful in our lives. We want to try it on, repeat the success, and carry it over the years. I've been a champion altogether for 12 years. And looking back, I would say that it's a repetition of those principles between focus, agility, coordination, and endurance. And you need to start from the beginning. And it's all about discipline. You need to be disciplined enough to achieve your next steps, next goals. If you repeat those principles, and that's why I'm so focused on it, you just finish with endurance, you start focusing on something. And then you show the agility. And basically, I need to also explain what it is. So what is focus? Yes, obviously that's our main focus. Entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. So we're part of this bigger contains a lot of different puzzles like me. So to understand that is also crucially important. So who am I? What can I deliver for the others? What can I do for the others in this case? And not expecting what others can do for me. Agility, it's the way. So what is my way? It's not about, being agile and as a gymnast. No, it's just you need to find the right path. How can I get to my goal, to my target? Coordination is extremely important because if anyone in this room is going to say, I'm self-made man, I think it's going to be wrong because self-made man doesn't exist. We need allies in our life. And this self-made man was made by, so he cannot say like I'm self-made. So let's start from that. So you definitely need companions, partners, friends, family. You need allies. And you need to coordinate how you can put it all together on this road to the success. And obviously, as I said previously, endurance, that's what it takes to be sustainably successful, great endurance, to be disciplined for tomorrow and after tomorrow, and in a year remain disciplined. It takes a lot of endurance to repeat it all over and over and over again. Guys, how many times did you shoot the same shot at the goalie just to score the goal? Billions of times. Tiger Woods, same thing, he shot trillions of times this ball to be successful. And sometimes you think it's simple, it's just a shot or just something that I've done. So every time there is certainly improvement.
Didier?
I want to ask you something. We know we will all learn how to be successful in our different sports. So when everything is going well, we know how to repeat, we know how to do it. But I want to know in your sport, when nothing is going in your direction, how did you react? How did you train? How did you work to come back to winning?
Well, you need to be able and open for changes in life. Change will always happen in our life. So you need to be agile enough for that and open enough in your mind for those changes. It's going to come, and to prepare in the first career for your next career. If you just finished your first career and you're starting to think about it, it's too late. Like speaking of the region, so you need to think about post-oil era, what is next going to be? Because change is going to come. And you need to prepare in the good times for the bad times. The bad times and challenging times will always come. It's never going to be the same. And basically, what I've learned in sport, and the team having a different background, different coach than yours, so you always need to kind of adjust into it. If you're going to play the same, you're probably going to fail.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you. One of the things about this panel is I'm proud to say that I've achieved 3 out of 4. I've convinced Didier and Elke and Seedorf to move to my beautiful country. So they all live here now. So I'm working on Vladimir now so that they can all move here. And to an end of this session, I would like to thank my panel, and sorry for, if we didn't take any questions, but as you're enjoying lunch, we have I hope you enjoyed this session, and we have a small little present for Marwan. We have and Sheikh Mohammed, but we have something for him. So to end this session, we would like to thank the Milken Institute for hosting it in my beautiful city, Abu Dhabi. And for that, we'd like to thank you everyone for coming here, and thank you so much. But before that, Didier and the team will give.
What we're going to do?
All of us.
I'm going to present it to...
Huh? We're going to give it?
They went out there. In Champions, this is over now. In Champions League words, I think Milken has qualified to the Champions League final to play Davos. Thank you very much.